What is up, you guys, and welcome back to Growing Upstairs. We're so glad you joined us today. Now to your hosts, Noah and Holden. What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to the podcast studio. I'm Holden.
And I'm Noah.
And it's Growing Upstairs. Man, we're glad to have you guys back here as we get ready for another episode. What episode are we on? We're on season 2?
I think this is number 3.
Episode number 3. We just keep on going. Keep on going. And you can hear, you hear
a little bit of giggling over
I'm
there?
for sure hearing some people in this.
Who do we have in the podcast studio? Who's that giggling?
What y'all doing? Welcome into our guests. Mr. Chad, a.k.a. Gramps. I was getting there. Not everybody on YouTube knows who you are, Gramps, but we're teaching them. We're teaching them who they are.
They've heard Gramps more than they've heard Mr. Chad.
You're right about that, though. We're gonna put a name to it at least so you know, so you're not like, who's this guy sitting on the end over there? That's Gramps, also known as Chad. In the middle, we got Miss Lori. And then right here on the end, we got Miss Grace. Welcome, you guys, to the podcast studio.
It's good to be back.
It's a joy.
I'm so honored.
We're so glad to have you guys here.
It's an honor.
So glad to have you guys here. We're going to go around the room. First, I want the first thought off of here, though. How do you guys feel about the new studio?
Cool.
You like it? We got to make sure we crank the air down before we get started, for sure.
Most definitely.
It does get hot in here.
It gets really hot up in here. Really hot up in here. Hey, we're glad to have you guys here. So excited to get another episode with you guys in on camera now. I know it's a little bit nerve-wracking, I guess you'd say, but still fun nonetheless. Noah, how have things been going for you here last week?
Man, things have been going. They've been busy, honestly.
What you been up to?
Busy, just working and, man, running errands. I feel like I go to Walmart like every day. I was telling somebody that the other day, like I feel like I'm always at Walmart.
Walmart just seems to be the place to go when you have to go there.
Right. Well, in our town only has Walmart. I mean, there's
That's
really
the only place to
like
go.
not much else to go if you need something from the store.
The dollar store don't cut it most of the time.
Right. I was talking to a buddy the other day, and I was sending him a text or a Snapchat, and I was like, on the way to Walmart for like the third time this week, and he was like, I go to Kroger. And I was like, yeah, we don't have one of those.
Where
You
does he
can
live
now
at?
It's close to Atlanta.
Hold on. You can now go to the new wait a minute. You can now go to the new gas station, that used to be the Stop and Rob. It is now not the Stop and Rob. It is nice on the inside. They have redone the floor.
Me and Noah went.
Yeah.
It's
It's
really
nice.
nice.
Yeah.
It was nice.
They got new flooring. It's like marble flooring.
If you guys are listening from like off in another state or somewhere that is not population 5, you probably have other places that you can go besides a gas station for entertainment. But around our neck of the woods, we go to the gas station for fun.
Did you say the Stop and Rob?
Yes. It used to be the Stop and Rob, and you used to smell like you smoke 6 packs a day when you come out of it.
Wow.
Very interesting.
Love Grace's description of our place.
That fits, and y'all know that fits.
So where does
But
your
it
buddy
wasn't-
live at?
But it wasn't really called the Stop and Rob.
No, it was
The
called
Suzy
Suzy
Q's.
Yeah.
The Suzy Q's.
Shout out to Susie.
Y'all
They
coulda- y'all
did
coulda
always
just-
wish the schools good luck, though. So shout out to them
Yeah.
for
on the
that.
little billboard outside.
That's nice,
The
at least.
letter was missing out of the name.
If you'd have said Suzy Q's, I'd have been like, oh, I know exactly where you're
Yeah.
talking about.
They got
Stop and Rob. I was like,
They got a Chester's fried chicken coming in there now.
really?
Yeah.
Do they have the lottery stuff going on in there now? Like the bingo machines?
I don't know.
They do have like a little smoothie maker.
I'd heard that they were getting like the little lottery machines or whatever in there,
Oh yeah.
which I mean, doesn't matter. But the Stop and Rob, so you go and you stop there, you get robbed,
Yeah.
and then you move
gotta
on.
be careful.
But
So-
other than that, that's about all I've been doing.
That's about it.
Yeah,
pretty
watching
much.
a little bit of the Braves, but
Yeah, we got to listen to them today.
yeah,
That was kind of cool. Did we win?
we ended up winning.
Let's go. I thought we did, but I wasn't sure. How about you guys? All right, Gramps, we'll start with you. How have things been going? Listen, since the last time you were on the podcast, I don't know, 5 months ago, catch us up. What'd you get for Christmas?
Clothes,
Clothes? Yeah.
things I needed. I'm like Noah. I just stay at Walmart. I think I've been every day this week picking up supplies for something, and I was like you because one of the ladies in town, I met her coming out, and I was going in the very next day. She was going in, I was coming out, and we're like, I guess we're all at Walmart.
Yeah,
We
literally.
don't have
We
much.
should all go
But-
together.
But now me, of course, y'all may have mentioned it some on one of the podcasts, but the youth renovation,
Yeah.
that's what I've been doing, and
Oh,
it
yeah.
about killed me. So we're glad to still be alive.
Absolutely.
It's good, but it was hard.
And it looks really good,
It
too.
does.
Looks awesome. How about you, Lori? How have things been going?
I'm officially done with undergrad.
Whoop, whoop,
I
whoop.
took my finals this week, and now I'm just working.
Now just working
Welcome.
into
The real world.
the real world. Miss Grace, how about you? How have things been going?
Super good. I hit my 1 year anniversary at work, my
Oh,
new job. So that's going super good.
It's already been a year.
a year.
Jeez.
I know.
I know it. That's quick.
And I love it. So
That's awesome.
Letting time just fly the older
it
you
just
get.
flies by.
When you're
I tell
having
ya,
fun.
I tell
That's
ya.
right.
You having fun at work, Grace?
I do. I love it.
Let's see.
It's
The
been
year's
really
gone
great.
by fast.
Yep.
So what did y'all get for Christmas? Like, did anybody, seriously, I know it sounds like a silly question, but did anybody get anything interesting at Christmas?
Noah gave me Hamilton tickets.
Oh,
And
yeah?
I got to see Dancing with the
That's so
Stars.
right. I
Oh,
forgot
yeah.
about
Tell
that.
us the story about this.
Oh, gosh.
Like how she got the present.
Yeah, no, you want to tell that part?
I'll let you.
I just did a scavenger hunt.
Yeah.
So just put together a little scavenger hunt and had it in a couple envelopes and had her go around town. None of the stops were at Walmart, were they?
No, I did not spend my time at Walmart like
Yeah.
I do.
But no, we just
so
went around town, had different spots that we stopped, and she found different parts or clues to her gift.
Listed Gramps.
Yeah, Gramps gave
Parents.
me one.
Did y'all go to Mama Rita's?
We had
Mama
to
Rita's
just-
had one.
Mama Rita's was one.
Gramps gave me one up here. One was at the dance studio. One was at the bank. No, it was at the
Yeah,
flagpole.
bank.
And then
The flagpole at the bank.
one was where? Is that all four of them? Is that it?
You had to go to DQ.
I did have to go
Oh
to DQ.
yeah, that's right.
I went to DQ. And then I just went back home, and the last one was on my porch.
Yep.
Then I opened them all. And then one of them was actually like in my house somewhere too. I don't know when he had the time
One
to
was
do
un-
that.
under the couch. Yeah.
It shows how non-observant I am.
It's so it's so busy. Like, where we going? We're at Walmart. We got one at Dairy Queen. We got one at Mama Rita's. We got one
Yeah.
over here.
That's
over
so
there.
That was-
fun,
that
though.
was
It
fun.
was
It
really
was-
fun.
Well, talking about
I was
Christmas, though, we do get to go to Extreme
Yeah.
Winter,
Yeah.
so
Oh yeah, me and Gramps.
that's our Christmas.
Yeah,
We've
me and
been
you
on a
did.
youth
Go to
trip.
We didn't
Gatlinburg,
go.
Extreme
did we?
Winter.
No.
Me and
Go
Gramps have
with
been
it.
on a youth trip since
That's
we've
right.
been
That's
here.
right.
It was fun.
How
And getting prepared for another one.
How exciting is it that every single person in this room gets to go?
Oh, that's awesome.
It's
Yeah, I'm
huge.
excited.
Yeah,
So
pumped
excited.
about that.
Yeah.
Gonna be fun.
That was beautiful.
I'm
gonna be great.
Tell them again, Noah.
It's gonna be great.
And Holden, your first year, so we
That's
get to watch
right.
the excitement of Holden
And you have to
experience and all.
He has to do
Mega.
Mega. Oh yeah,
Hey.
you have to do Mega.
Oh yeah.
First year, and you know what else? I get to drive a big van.
That's right.
I'm glad I'm not driving.
Nobody else
I
would
drove
be
last
excited
year.
about that.
Listen, if you got a long way to go, I don't want to sit here and just
Oh,
I
I
wanna
want to
sleep.
Ride. I want to drive.
I want to
I will
sleep.
sleep the entire
Yes,
way.
I
Well,
want to sleep.
Just be
Sleeping.
sure you don't
Or
stay on
DJ.
the bus's bumper because when they stop in front of me, I don't want you eating it up.
oh, okay,
I stayed pretty close to
No.
Chad last year.
no
In
nervousness.
my
or anything.
vehicle.
Um,
I thought we were
But
taking Chad's vehicle.
If we get the last spots, we are. But if not, we're just gonna let them drive.
Got-
Snooze and DJ.
Nap it out.
that's awesome. All right, well,
But we need to explain why that is.
all right, go ahead. Go.
35
Yeah.
on the trip this year.
Hey.
We started out.
Great.
We started out going to Fuge when I came here with Noah and Walt.
Yep.
We have moved all the way up to
Shout out to
Leaders.
Walt.
Engaged.
and
if Walt's
then-
listening.
Yeah, that's right. And then now up to 35 going. If we have them all get a spot, we'll have 37. So we've got a big group
That's
going. That's why we
insane.
got two vehicles and we're talking about vehicles.
Unbelievable.
You never really even
Blessings of
That's
God.
so
You never
literally
even
so
think about
crazy.
how much planning goes into that until you actually have to stop and start planning it.
Yeah.
No, but I
It's a
know
lot.
how excited I was when Gramps was like, I think we're going to rent a bus. And at first, wasn't it like up in almost Atlanta? And it was like, we're going to have to drive all the way up there the
Yeah.
day before. But then he was like, no, we're going to Valdosta. And we're eating in Valdosta.
At
Yes.
Texas Roadhouse.
Good thing to rent a van to go on the Fuge camp so we can go eat at Texas Roadhouse because
Are we all
we
going
don't
to
have
get that
one
van?
Yeah,
here.
we don't have
We
one
have
of
to go to
those.
Walmart or
Yeah.
the Stop and Rob.
Are we all going to get that van?
Yeah, that's
We can
depends
make
on
a-
how many of y'all want to eat at Texas Roadhouse.
We can
that
make
day or not.
a round trip out of it.
I don't want to go with you on that Monday, but maybe just that
Yeah.
So
Saturday.
I think it's
I don't know,
Gramps.
they-
He's going to have to get somebody to ride with him because we'll
I
all
don't
be
think
back
I hate
at
on
work.
that Monday is y'all are going to miss Texas Roadhouse for the
They,
second time.
that might be possum pot pie night at the Stop and Rob. So
That man said possum pie. What
Y-
you?
y'all please come and join us in Camilla, Georgia. Stop and Rob, Possum
Uh,
Pie.
it's really not that bad. But
No, they have a whole
The
wall of
possum pot
seltzers
pie,
now.
you've had it?
no, it's not. It's not bad.
Good, good. We'll have to try it one night.
Oh no!
This is what happens when you put the five
Does
of
it
us
come
in a
with
room
any
together.
sides, or is it just the pot pie?
They have a whole wall of
I
seltzers
know.
to offer as your beverage.
They do.
People watching us and listening, they got to be like, that's the youth leaders to
Yeah,
this
they're
group.
so like
How did they survive?
Absolutely. It's awesome. We have fun though. That's the point. Is when we all get together. If you can have a group that's like us that gets together and can have fun and then share that with everybody that's around us too. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah,
Talking about the
Pretty darn
bloopers
good.
and stuff, we need to take some pictures of the kids sometime and their response to us, how we act.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
would
that's
probably
a-
be hilarious.
that's a good
to
That'd be
see.
funny.
Speaking of which, you guys that are listening, you guys that are watching, starting today, I'm going to put this number up there, or not the number, but evidently I'm typing 76 numbers. We're going to put the post back out there for anybody who wants to come on the show. I'm going to do the, what's it called?
Linktree,
No, the Space Monkey thing. What's that thing
Survey
called?
Monkey.
Survey Monkey. That's it. I'm gonna do the Survey Monkey. So anybody that wants to come on the show, you guys are welcome to. You guys can see what it's gonna be. So I'll try to get that out there to you guys now,
that's
because
funny.
starting next week on the next episode, we'll have our first guest that come from the youth that wanted to do it last year but didn't really get on. So that'll start next week. But I'll put that Survey Monkey out. I'll give it to Noah and he can put it up on. Where can you put it up at?
You can find that on Instagram, and you don't forget to follow us on Instagram at GrowingUpstairs.
Easy peasy. You guys
Yes,
got
sir.
it. Y'all know where to follow us at?
Instagram.
Instagram.
Did y'all get
Well,
a
I mean, I
Facebook
just-
from the last episode?
I feel like we need to get a Facebook now, Holden.
Should we get
Last
a Facebook?
episode, y'all didn't
There's,
have
there's a
one.
couple people that's asked us about Facebook, so we might have to do
So we
that.
need to get a Facebook.
Yeah, I reckon so.
Y'all should get a Twitter too. I love Twitter.
You mean X?
Just be
Go
sure.
ahead and get
It's
a
actually
TikTok while you're
Twitter.
at it.
It's Twitter forever.
Twitter.
Twitter.
Coming soon to Growing Upstairs, Twitter and Facebook. We'll get to it when that time comes. Gramps, do you have something you were about to say?
Yeah, I was going to say, be sure that since we've got the video and everything now, when you have the youth guests, we want to point out the pizza boys.
Oh,
We,
yeah.
we can now
The
put a little
pi-
more evidence and
the pizza
faces
story.
to that story.
I now know what we need to put on the wall behind you guys. We need to put a massive glow in the dark piece of pizza up there, or pizza box. I guess that would. We got some of them in there.
Yeah,
We
got
could just
quite
go
a
get
few.
some of those and tag them up to the wall real quick.
And we'll
Just
be
print
interested
out
to see
their-
what story we
Print
have
out their
back from
faces
Fuge Camp
and
this
put their
time.
faces on
Oh,
the pizza box. Up
Yeah.
here.
Their photos.
Oh, they're up to something over here.
They're cooking.
And then connect
Little
all the
cook.
lines.
All right, so that's what we'll do. So you guys be on the lookout wherever that may be when this time comes. Definitely on Instagram. We'll do, what did we do last year? Like a QR code?
Yeah.
Know what they are.
Yeah.
If you guys see it, you can scan that, and you guys can sign up to do that. If you guys want to sign up to get back on, you can, but I don't think you have to sign up. You guys just let us know, and we'll be sure to try to get you guys on there. All right, let's get to kind of the first topic of the day. Are you guys afraid of anything?
Vultures.
Explain.
Buzzards.
Let's go a little deeper.
Bro, they're terrifying.
Just like the look of them?
Yeah, well, everything about them. I mean, so let me start with where this fear started.
That's probably a
So,
good idea. 1970.
when I was a young lad. No, so I'm watching TikTok or something one day, and I see this video of a dude parked on the side of the road, like in his Jeep, and the whole front windshield is shattered. There's glass everywhere. He's got blood. He's got like blood on his head or whatever, like where I guess the glass and stuff has cut him. And he turns the camera around, and there's literally a buzzard in his back seat.
my brother did that one time.
Are you serious?
Well, I mean, he was in one of these uniform rental trucks, big trucks, and he was the type person, my brother, that hey, he flies, I'll just hit him, it'll be all right. Well,
Way to steal the
he
story
hit
time,
him
Gramps.
in the van.
There's no way. I would wreck. I mean, I'd just drive off the side of the road. They're scary.
They are freaky looking. I think the thing that probably scares me the most about them is how they come next to the road, and then I'm like, all right, are you about to go through my windshield, or are you about to fly off the other direction?
Yeah.
And they'll jump up, and it's like, all right, it's cool. They're going the other way, and they come back into the way over here.
When I see one, I would literally start honking the horn half a mile out.
Oh, me too. And I'm sitting here going, meh, meh, and I see them way down there, and they're like,
I'm just not that concerned.
what's going on here?
I'm
don't
just
care
picture
about
them
buzzards.
going down the road, just laying on the horn for a buzzard that's a
You-
mile away.
All you see is somebody.
Lord, you've been in the car with me when I've done it.
It still doesn't make it any less funny.
And the buzzard probably
Serious
doesn't
question.
do much anything.
Serious
else
like, what's
there
this guy
either.
doing? I'm just chilling.
That's
Serious
when you
question.
hydrate.
I got a serious question. Do you ever drive?
It's a serious question.
Listen, do you ever drive down the road and you
He
just
sounded like the
just
whole
for no reason, just
No.
I do when I'm off with the youth.
yeah,
horn.
I'm not alone.
So when we're driving together, you blow, I'll blow.
Yeah.
Well, people, what you blowing at? No.
Yeah, straight up, nobody. I will literally go. "Meh, meh." I can't believe they're coming.
to nobody on the road.
There's nobody there. There will be Grace. There will be a cow pasture off to the side with some cows in it. Meh, meh.
I mean, it's one of the features of the vehicle. Why wouldn't you use it?
Exactly. I'm not gonna honk at somebody.
I
What
can't
am
tell
I?
you a time I've ever honked my horn. Ever. No,
But-
I've my car.
I've
But
never
you did
waved.
know
I
one
don't get
time
my
when one
hand up in
honked at
time
us.
because my hand's on the steering wheel down here. So if somebody waves at me, I don't get my hand up in time to like
I
wave
put
at
my
somebody.
hands up. You are cracking me
Anywho,
up.
what are
Yes,
you
I am.
guys
Well,
scared
thank you.
of?
Let's go.
Not buzzard.
I'm not scared of a buzzard.
Seriously though, anything you guys are afraid of, like that just comes immediately to mind. Like I'm terrified of
I
this.
got you. Okay, this is kind of different, but heights without a barrier. So like if you're like if I'm on a like if I'm in a high place and like there's like a something on the outside, it doesn't bother me.
Okay, so basically like heights with the potential of dying because you fall off
Yeah.
of whatever.
She
the
wouldn't
heights are.
want to stand on the edge of the Grand Canyon.
No, because there's nothing to hold me back. Like what if the wind just
Yeah, and it's strong.
You're pretty sturdy though. Like I don't think. Like you're a human. I don't think you would like if you were a leaf. I think you would. You know. I don't know.
it just makes my heart race a little. I can't
If
think
the
about it.
hurricane force winds come up on
Just randomly. Like what if one day you're just looking out the Grand Canyon and just poof.
Oh man.
Gone.
She goes.
Oh, she gone.
All right, so high.
I'm glad y'all be concerned about me.
So we got high, we got vultures, and we got the wind that'll blow you off a cliff. All right. Anyways, anybody else? Something you're afraid
Oh,
of?
that's kind of hard.
Gramps, I
I'm
thought you'd
afraid
have
of
a good
stuff,
one.
but
I used to work with a girl that had a phobia of milk. It's Aubrey at work. She's afraid of milk.
no names.
Name drop.
Nobody knows who she is. Nobody knows who she is.
You talking about Aubrey?
Well, you're
the
going to
Aubrey
stay
that.
somewhere where you work, and they're going to pull it up and say, "Oh, that's Aubrey."
Mm-hmm.
Never mind. Her name is Jessica.
Jessica, if you're out there, we're sorry. We're really sorry. So we've got milk from
She's afraid
Jessica.
of leche.
So
I can't
vultures, heights, milk, the wind blowing. Gramps, did you have anything?
I know there's something, but I mean, I can't. Scared from time to time when things happen.
He trusts in
but-
God. He has no fears.
I trust in God.
I mean, as a kid, yeah, with the dark or walking.
Yeah.
out
I'm
there.
still scared of the dark.
The dog.
See, now they figure it out.
I'm
scared.
Now they
I'm
figure
not
it
scared
out.
of the
Hey,
dark.
you know,
I'm
like when
scared
you
of
were a
what can
kid,
be in the
and
dark.
you're walking and your dog's out there and starts barking. You're like, what's he see? I'm ready to get in the house.
So when I was a kid, like if I had to go in the house first, I was like
Every
Vanna White running through,
Every light.
hitting every light on the way, trying to turn them all on. And then my sister got smart; she would take off running in the house before me, and I was like, "Oh, she's just gotta go to the bathroom." So here I come running; she'd be hiding behind something. Run! Scared. Man, scared it's not out of me, but it's all right. So that's what we're afraid of. All right, is cereal a soup?
We're probably afraid of bad dorm rooms at Fuge Camp too.
Oh yeah.
Ooh,
Oh my
that's true.
gosh.
Oh,
At
I
least
know,
the
what
girls
I know
are.
what mine is. I know what mine is.
I'm afraid of tipping. I'm just kidding.
Tipping?
Tractor tipping.
Like
Frank tipping. Oh, there, Frank.
I thought he was talking about like tipping a waiter.
I thought he was
I
talking
was.
about
It was a
like,
joke, guys.
like cow
You're
tipping.
afraid of that?
I was just kidding.
So you're a
Don't
bad,
take me to Texas Roadhouse.
You're a bad tipper. Is
No, I'm just kidding. So what were you about to say, though?
mine's a roach. You could rob me with a roach.
Really?
You could take everything I had if you held a roach up to me. I know you just looked at that little stain up there that you said was a stain.
I told
and
y'all
now
it's
you're
a
saying
bug.
it's a roach.
I think it's moving.
No, don't say that, actually.
Did it move over?
Grace will be out of here in a minute.
It's about to be going from growing upstairs to going back downstairs after this. All right, so that's what. All right, so seriously though, is cereal a soup?
No.
It's not a soup.
No.
Nah.
Not a soup. You go no?
Nah.
Cold soup.
Is hot dog a sandwich?
No.
Hot dog's
Depends on
not a
what kind of
sandwich.
bread you put it in.
A bun.
But you
I
could
could
put
get
it
people-
between
I could get behind a hot dog being a
Sandwich?
sandwich.
It's the wrong way. Like,
a hoagie
don't-
sandwich,
but-
a
Yeah.
hot dog sandwich.
well,
You go to
Ooh.
Subway and they open up the sub.
I don't eat hot dogs.
Bro, if you go to a Subway and get a hot dog, just don't, because there is something wrong with that. I guarantee. you.
Subway
a
has
hot
hot
dog.
dogs.
No, I'm just saying, like, if they did have hot dogs, maybe don't.
But what I'm saying is a hot dog is basically a sub.
Yeah,
Like when they open up the Subway
I
bread,
mean, yeah, basically,
I'm just thinking.
it's like a big hot dog.
think about like a meatball sub. It's different meat, but it's just balls of meat that are it's a sandwich, right? So if you took a hot dog and you cut it up into pieces, it'd be like the same thing minus maybe some of the sauce. So anyway, all right, cereal soup. That's what we got there.
And why
I
are
don't think
we?
it's
And
a
why are
soup.
we needing to know this?
It's just
Random.
I
don't
would
think it
say
is.
to kind of lighten the mood as we get started, but I think we kind of were good to go when we got started in this thing. All right, last one, and then we'll get to Noah's random minute here. Can you do any impressions or impersonations? Would it be impersonations? Impressions? Impersonations?
Impressions.
Now I'm very curious.
Impersonations?
Now I'm very curious about the word.
Dude,
I
what
think
is
it's impersonations.
what is English right now?
Do you have you get your phone? Google it.
What did you
Google is
say?
free.
I don't even know what I said.
Well, I
Yes.
said impersons at first, impressions,
Impersonation.
and then I said impersonations. I think it's impersonations.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah. So, do you guys have any impersonations that you can do?
Gramps does.
Yeah, he does.
I do not.
Come on,
I
Gramps.
can only do me.
He can do Donald Duck.
Well, I'm thinking.
I can only
person.
do
I
me.
wasn't thinking about Donald Duck.
Yeah, anything. Because he's about to do one.
Boy,
Hit it again with it.
hot dog.
Oh boy.
Hot dog. Hi, Donald. Oh, what are you doing?
The podcast.
Growing upstairs?
I got my shoulders up.
My mind is blown right
Do you,
now,
want us,
dude.
do you want us to do the rest of the podcast?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, no, because I'll be so distracted. All right, do the other one, the Scooby one.
Raggy.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. He nails that one.
That
We're
one's
not
pretty good.
talented
I
like
don't-
that.
I can't do anything.
Like
I can
Scooby.
do,
Do it again. Like Scooby.
Yeah, roast.
That's really good.
I
Hit
wish
a
I could do that.
Donald Trump every now and then too.
Well, maybe not for this podcast.
Every now and then.
Uh,
Hitch.
It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be huge. All right.
what about you?
No, I don't really have any. Oh boy, that was better. The last one though. Do you have any kind of sounds that you can make? And this one's gonna sound kind of funny. Let's see if I can do it right now. So I have determined. So me and Hudson started playing the Wii again, and I love it, dude. Like I seriously think about bringing it up here and playing it just to play with everybody. But anyways, you guys remember the Wii Sports game back in the day?
Yeah.
So I feel like I could be wrong, but I feel like I can do the whistle almost perfectly to the sound that it makes. Is that pretty close?
That's pretty accurate.
Not too bad. And then the other one, when you're playing golf, you hit it. Nice shot.
You're out.
That's all I got. Anybody else? Any noises or crazy thing like that you can?
Not any of those.
All right, hit me with that Donald Duck one more time.
Oh, boy.
That blows my mind. That blows my mind. All right, Noah, what you think? Random minute time?
Yeah, I think it's time.
All right, let's do it. Oh, there it goes. Is that really loud in y'all's headphones? That's good. All right.
So
with the random-
welcome to Noah's Random Minute, guys. I don't know if you've been listening for the first couple episodes that we've done, but we've kind of changed it up a little bit this season. Noah's Random Minute is going to be more geared towards facts that you did not know that you needed to know. So I'm going to give you 3 facts that you can react to, and I promise you, you needed to know these.
All right, let's go.
So on the topic of impersonations.
That's what we're going with.
Okay, impersonations. Yep. Did you know that Mickey and Minnie Mouse, the voices, the people that voiced Mickey and Minnie Mouse, got married in real life?
I did not know
That
that.
is just too precious.
But I
right there.
needed
That's so
to know that.
sweet.
Really?
That's gonna make me cry.
That's pretty awesome.
Who'd have thunk it?
Do you know like who they are? Real life names?
Mickey and Minnie?
Can't go wrong with that one.
No, I don't know their real life names.
That's pretty cool though.
But
For
they're
real.
married.
They talk in those voices all the time to each other.
Oh, that would be awful.
Or do you think it gets like really annoying?
Lori said that would be awful.
Don't talk to me like that.
How would you have an argument like that?
I don't know. Could you imagine getting in an argument with Donald Duck over there?
Well, that's pretty good.
That was
That's about what he
good.
does
Nailed
sometimes.
it! I got a new one. All right, Noah. Next on
Learn
the
an
list.
impression.
All right, so
I
your
gotta learn how
next,
to do
the
that.
next random fact that you didn't know you needed to know is that headphones, this is a really good one for all of us that have headphones on at this moment. Headphones can cause bacteria in your ears.
Yeah, thanks.
That's so good to know.
So just think about that while
All right,
we
so-
have our headphones.
Okay,
on.
question,
wait,
though,
is
is this-
headphones specifically, or is it like
Earbuds.
AirPods too?
Yeah.
It's
Do
bad.
you know that?
So,
Is
have
that-
y'all followed COVID protocols with these?
Yep.
Like, wipe
Yeah.
them down.
They've been put in that cabinet for like the last 4
Oh.
months.
Oh my god.
So if there's something in there,
roaches running all over. 'em.
why did you do it? Why'd you do it? Why'd you say it?
Because that's where my mind goes.
Think about
Grace
the
is
bats
gone.
next door.
There's
Why would you say
bats
that?
all in there.
Why would you say that?
Because you already had them on now. Might as well go ahead and own it.
Yeah, it's too late now, Grace.
All right, I found their blooper reel that we're gonna put up on here. Grace said, "Nope."
All right, and you ready for fact number 3?
Fact number
We
3.
didn't get an answer to that. Was it AirPods or?
Oh yeah,
It's gotta
we
be
do need to
both.
know
It
that.
just says headphones.
Okay.
It's got. I would think. Honestly, I
just
would think
assume.
it's got
I
to be the
just assume.
ones you put in your.
In your
Because
ear,
these, I
too,
feel
yeah.
like, they're just sitting on the outside.
Yeah.
Nothing's going like inside or anything like that.
Just,
Right, y'all
just,
believe that?
just keep telling yourself
Yeah,
that.
just keep
Yeah.
thinking it.
I just probably your AirPods
Now you know.
are probably.
All right, and here we
worse.
go. I'm ready to watch you guys try this.
Oh boy.
This is fact number 3. You cannot hum
I knew you were gonna
while
pick this one.
pinching your nose.
Let's try that again. All right, y'all try it. Do it again, though.
I feel like a dummy.
I can't breathe.
Oh, you're swimming.
I'm not sure why I need to know
Like-
that,
like
but
this,
I probably
Holden.
do.
You got it. You got it.
You gotta give it a good inhale
You
first.
gotta really. Yeah, you gotta really. Nah, I heard it.
Boy, if you
I
ain't
heard it
careful, you're
just
gonna
a little
backfire.
bit.
Yeah, but you can barely hear it.
Oh, me. And here's one more for the road. All right, you ready for this one? Last one. Last one.
He said go back.
Oh, gosh.
I missed that one.
She's gone. She is no longer with us.
Deceased. All right, hit me with another one on the
This is
road.
one more for the road. You ready?
I love how you put your mic out of the way to tell me that, but talked in mine.
Grace, get it together.
Come on.
Here you go. Ketchup used to be sold as medicine.
Why? What's this? Noah, you can get the facts. I gotta know why.
What did it treat? What did it treat? What did it treat?
That means you're eating healthy every time you eat
Diabetes.
ketchup.
Diabetes.
I don't know.
Okay.
Anywho,
I cannot deal with that.
this has been Noah's Random Minute.
I cannot. That is too funny. I cannot deal with that.
I don't think we're supposed to talk during that.
I think I'm gonna need another minute and a half before we get back into this. No, I need 2 more minutes out of this. That was Noah's random 7.5 minutes. As we move forward here. All right.
It's hilarious.
Whew. Everybody good?
Yep.
We good to go? All right, so we talk about this every week. We don't have anything. You guys got any kind of embarrassing, awesome, amazing stories that have happened since the last time that we came on that you guys want to share?
Oh, I have an embarrassing story.
Oh, let's go. We finally got the first. You will have the first story time moment in season 2 right here.
Actually, I have 2. I'll tell the better one though.
Perfect. Do it into the microphone, though, please.
I'm sorry, I was trying to drink
No,
my
you're
water.
good.
I was trying to hydrate. Okay. So today was my mom's birthday. So
Happy
I was
birthday.
hiding. Yep. Shout out, Chris. So, sorry, name drop. So I hid my mom's birthday present over at my brother's house. So today I had to go over to my brother's house to get it. So I call my sister-in-law to ask her what the code to the alarm is. And so she's on the phone and she tells me the code and it's the wrong code. And I'm like, okay, well, what's the code? And she doesn't know the code to her own house. Because she always used the clicker. But by the time that I get the right code, the big alarm is going off. They're like, burglar, you have entered a security alarm, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, wow, wow, wow. And so my heart rate is going like 1,000 miles an hour. And then at this point, the cops are being called to the premises. Yep. So then I turn the alarm off, get the stuff that I needed, and I'm out the door. Thankfully, the dog wasn't there, though, because if the dog was there, me and the dog would have both been just in shambles. So then my dad calls me while I'm on the road to Baconton, and he's like, hey, are you at your brother's house? And I'm like, well, I was at my brother's house, but I'm not anymore. And he's like, all right, well, the cops are on their way. And I'm like, well, okay, but the cops don't need to be on their way. And he's like, well, I've already sent them. They're already on their way. And I was like, okay. And so the dispatch asked him, did he want to cancel them? And he's like, no, just send them anyway. And I was like, okay. So the cop showed up to my brother's house because I was trying to get my mom's peanut butter cookies and flowers out of his house, and my sister-in-law didn't know the code to her own alarm.
I'm just amazed your dad called the cops on you.
No, the cops come automatically.
He just
I
didn't
know,
tell him
but
not
he
to.
told him to keep going.
Yeah, well, yeah. My second embarrassing story is that we had to get the Tecnus shot.
Oh, Lord.
Time out. Did you just call it a tetanus shot?
How do
Oh,
you
just
say
wait.
it? How
This
do you
gets
say
better.
it?
Tetanus?
Tetanus. All right, we had to get a tetanus.
It's pronounced impersonation.
And this was the day that Grace went to jail.
Just wait. This one gets good.
I'm
All
ready.
right.
All right,
How
here
do
we
you
go.
say it?
We
Tetanus.
had to
Tetanus.
get the tetanus shot.
We had to get a
for camp.
tetanus shot for refuge camp, okay?
I was not aware of that, but okay.
Well, you didn't read your
Time
flyer.
out. Time out.
Kate.
Time out. Oh, I don't have to
not
get
reading
it.
your information.
I don't have
sheet.
to get
All right, well,
tetanus
the last time I got one was
because it's
get ready.
been
2012, okay? So it's time for me to get one. And so I called my primary care doctor, and I was like, hey, I need to get a tendonitis shot. And she was like, okay, hold on a second. And I was like, okay, thanks. And so she comes back, and she's like, okay, you're supposed to see us on Monday. You can do it then. And I'm like, okay, so I can just come in, see what's her name, and then she can give me my tendonitis shot. And she's like, mm-hmm. I'm like, okay. So twice I asked for my tendonitis shot. And so then I get to the office on Monday. Turns out I was going to have to pay for it. So I'm not paying for it, obviously. Because I can get it for free, I'm going to get it for free. So then I asked the nurse, I'm like, so can the health department give me my tendonitis shot? I asked for a third time for my dang tendonitis shot. So yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna get when I go to the health department. Y'all say a prayer. I don't know.
She texted me.
She finna be limber.
Well, I
better
think
be
I've been
going.
having tendonitis problems. I didn't know you could have a tendonitis
You
shot.
better
I'll
get a
make
tendonitis-
Gramps like, I'm finna get me one of them.
You better get a tendonitis shot.
She said, just wanted you to know, I just called her office asking for a tendonitis shot. I said, what did they say? Because I had no idea that she had, I didn't even understand it. She said, well, thankfully she just acted like I said tetanus. And I said, oh. I said, I didn't realize that's what you asked for.
I still am not saying that word right because I think I'm trying to add a C into it.
It's just T-E-T-N-U-S.
Tetanus.
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 That's beautiful.
I think I'm trying to say Tecnus.
Don't say that.
Tetanus.
We don't know what that shot is.
I don't know what I'm going
But you
to
might
Can one
need
of y'all go with me when I get this shot? Because I don't know what I'm going to get.
I'm here for my tendonitis shot.
I don't know what I'm going to get.
Boy.
And I got to go to employee health to get it. Yeah, I don't know.
I
Lori,
can't.
make sure she's not on the medical side of
I
our
cannot.
youth
I can't.
So I'm going to get a tendonitis shot.
Kid's gonna come up. Something wrong with my tendonitis. They got a shot for
My
that.
tendon going to roll up. I don't know about it. I don't know. I don't know.
Noah,
Yeah.
take over the show, please.
I got nothing.
No, it's like I'm out. too.
I got nothing.
Yeah, that was a really good week for me.
So
She said tendonitis shot.
I was so confident in it, too.
Did you ever get your tetanus shot?
No, I didn't get it because I was supposed to get it on Monday, and they were like, you got to pay for it here. I was like, no, dog. I'm not paying for that.
You really got to pay for a tetanus shot?
Yes.
Since when?
At my primary care doctor, you do. But
Since
if you-
2012, evidently.
But, yeah.
Or your insurance has to cover
If
it.
you go to
Yeah.
a doctor and get a shot, they're going to charge you for going, to the doctor.
But
to
if
get
I go to
shot.
the health department, you don't have
They
to.
don't charge you.
But I can go to my.
That's what I was
You're
thinking. with the
paying
health
more for
department.
their services than your shot because of the insurance.
But if I go, since I work at a hospital, I can go to their,
Employee
I guess
health.
anywhere, but you can go to employee health and they'll give it to you and they'll pay for it. But I'm working from home all week, so I'm going to go on Monday and get it.
Oh, you need to add that to your random minute.
man, for real.
Something. What? Give me the name of it again. How's it go? Something that you needed to know, but you didn't know you know to know.
You
How's
know
that
you
go?
need to know. but
Things
you
that
know
you didn't know you needed to know.
And now you know.
The more
Go to the health department.
the more you know.
The more you know.
Thanks
All
for
right.
those stories, Grace.
Yeah, that
You're
was
so
good.
welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So if you guys have any that you want to send in, it doesn't have to just be breaking and entering into your brother's house or getting a tendonitis shot. But if you have anything embarrassing, fun, awesome, anything like that, sure, you guys. No more? None over there that you can think of off the top of your head? But if you guys have any, send it in to
Us.
great plug. No, great plug.
Yep.
Send it over to Instagram.
You can put it on
background and
YouTube
stuff.
comments
Yeah,
or
comment down
DM
below.
it to us, email it to us. Just send us
Yeah.
a message. We want to
We
feel
need
the
like a
love.
button.
We just want to hear from you.
Yeah.
So do you guys really think should we start a Facebook page?
Yes, I love a good Facebook post.
What you think, Noah?
Let's do it.
I think I should go to Twitter.
Twitter.
I got an idea, Grace. I'm gonna start a Twitter, and you're gonna take over it for us.
I will. I love Twitter.
With your tendonitis story.
Yeah, let's do it.
I love Twitter.
You're hired.
You're hired.
Yes.
Hey, do you want to be a producer on this show? I'll give you buttons and everything to click back there.
Yes.
All right, so that's our first story time of the season 2 on it.
It was an honor and a privilege.
That was cool. I appreciate you bringing some stories to it because, like I said, we didn't have any up until this point.
Yeah.
You guys got anything else before we move to the next segment?
Are you ready?
Ready?
We fixin' to raise the. We fixin' to raise the. Meter.
We're just sitting.
Meter.
Oh, but he didn't tell me.
You gotta hit move.
We fixin' to raise the meter.
What up? What up? All right. So this week's topic is all about molecules in me. Everybody remember us doing that series
Why is it all
a
about
couple
you?
weeks ago? All right, molecules in me, being whoever it is that's listening, watching, anything like that.
Can
it-
you?
But that's not what it was called.
I
is it?
know. I'm sorry. I redact that.
No, you're good.
Redact that.
All right, so molecules in me. Can anybody kind of give us a synopsis or just say exactly what this entire topic, lesson, what have you was?
Go, Lori. Go, Lori. Go, Lori.
Like the backstory.
Yeah,
where
like
it came from?
basically the meaning behind it, so that way anybody that's listening or watching as we kind of talk a little bit about it, they're not like, what are they talking about?
The Cliff Notes version is that we did the puzzled series in the fall, and I just thought that it was so cool that we had a series. Like, we put it on T-shirts. Like, I see them wearing the T-shirts all the time. Like, it was just fun to have something that, like, they could look at that signified what we've been doing. So we wanted to do that again for the spring, and I started thinking, like, in my head about how important their relationships are and how it's hard to touch on them sometimes because they're kind of scary topics. Like, some of them can be hard to approach. So I texted Grace, actually, and I was like, I've got this idea in my mind of, like, how I want to talk about relationships, but I don't really know, like, exactly how to put it. And I say it was a God moment because I just really feel like it was. Like, I felt it in my heart because within, like, me texting her within the next couple of days, I got two completely different, had two different conversations, one of them in person, one of them over text, about relationships, like, us talking to youth about relationships from parents. Like, they were like, oh, I would love to hear that y'all talk about this, or do y'all talk about this? And I was like, wow, like, that's crazy. One of them, I think, was dating, and one of them was friendships maybe, or family. But both of those conversations just kind of, like, solidified that that's what we needed to do. So Grace kind of helped me come up with the name of it, like molecules in me, being like, these are kind of what makes up you as a person, is like that quote, you are who you associate with the most. I don't really know how it goes, but your relationships really define a lot about who you are, and you kind of start to act more and more like them the more time you spend with them. So we just wanted to talk about the different relationships in your life that you're around the most at their age, and like how you can make them more centered on the Lord.
Yep, that's a great Cliff's Notes version of
Thank you.
the entire thing. So we had, correct me if I'm wrong, there were 5 molecules
That's right.
in the entire thing. What was the first one?
So I don't really remember.
Self.
Self-image.
Self.
Yeah.
Self-image.
I
Was
just
that
had it pulled up. Hold
was
on.
that one of the
said that
ones
one.
that you did? What I want to kind of do is start at the very beginning where we started with them, and then, you know, because I know we all kind of broke up and did like 2 apiece, basically, and
Yeah.
the
Grace
part
set it up that one. She did.
I had it pulled up.
you did that one, okay. So I want to just kind of start on that one. So we first start with self, which is obviously, I'll just let you kind of talk about it in any way that you want to.
Sure.
Again, this is kind of like the Cliff's Notes version of everything that we went through for this. So starting off with the self molecule in me.
Yeah, so it was self-image. So we talked about a holy and an unholy way of loving yourself. I don't know if that was really what it was, but unholy and holy ways of thinking of yourself and how comparison leads to thinking lowly of ourselves. And how we were a sinner, but we've been forgiving, and understanding that we are only where we are now because of the power and grace of God, and confidently knowing and proclaiming. Where did I go? Oh, okay. Sorry. We just have to humble ourselves under God's mighty hand, and Jesus must increase and I must decrease. And that they just have all these temptations around them, but the devil doesn't care, what we think about ourselves, as long as he can keep our attention away from the Lord, and keep us focused on ourselves. So it's just really important for them to keep their main focus on the Lord and not what others think about them or how they look or, are they the most popular, just what the Lord thinks about them and what their relationship with the Lord is, looking like. And I think the best thing that came from that lesson, in my opinion, and y'all's might be different, was the weather analogy. Was that are you a weather vane, and do you move and change directions based on external factors like what people think about you? Are you changing the way you dress or the way you act based on what other people are doing or saying? Or are you a weather clock, and are you strong in your faith, and do you only change when the Lord tells you to change, and are you only moving when the Lord tells you to move? So I think that was what moved me when I was like going through this, and when the Lord laid that on my heart, was like, whoa, that was kind of powerful.
Yeah, I can remember that moment when that came up and you were talking about it. I was like, it
hit you. I was like, whoa.
It was perfect. I was like, oh yeah, that makes total sense. Yeah. And I think self-image is so important. Yeah. I think it was a great starting topic to kind of kick everything off when it goes into the molecules of me. And the thing that I loved the most was, and you guys may or may not be able to attest to this too, is how everything like built perfectly into one another, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It has to have a strong foundation. Go ahead, Lori.
I was going to agree, because I think that a lot, I don't think we realize how much like lays on our self-image. Like that is kind of the starting factor for a lot of things. If we're thinking negatively about ourselves, like it can affect our relationships around us. And so I think it was Grace did a really good job of hitting home with that one first, and then we could build off of that into like external relationships with others. Yeah.
If you don't have that foundation of love, like with yourself and with the Lord, you can't spread it outward. Yeah. It'll just be hate coming outward for all your relationships.
I think it's going to go through in the end, and we'll talk about some more of them. But like you said, you have to get that self-image correct with God, your self-image and where you stand, primarily with God, because every other molecule we talk about is going to be affected by that one.
Yeah.
I think
so. If you mess that one up, the rest are going to be messed up.
I think my biggest takeaway from that analogy of the meter is like, I often, when we talk about self-image, like want to throw out there, but I love you and like I think you're amazing the way that you are, but in all reality, like we just need to remember that it all comes back to the Lord, because at the end of the day, like our feelings and emotions are going to change, and the Lord's will never fade. And I just want to, like, I could hammer home every day that I love the youth. Like I love every single one of them personally, and like I think they all are amazing, but that's not what should matter. It's the fact that the Lord does. And like I'll always want to try to train my mindset to turn to that rather than say I do, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. I think I can't remember exactly where this is in the Bible, but I know in the Bible it also says that God's not looking at like how we look at the world. We look at the worldly view of everything. That's not what he's looking at. He's looking at our hearts, and it all begins with us and how things start with us and how we not only feel about ourselves, I think is important, but also like us being so concerned about what everybody else thinks about ourselves too, because I think those are two separate things. And you may have touched on that also. I think it's important how we're so worried sometimes about what other people think about us, and sometimes that kind of skews how we feel about ourselves too, if that makes sense. And I think that's so important to, it's putting Christ first, and that being the self-image where we start with that and have that firm foundation, like you guys say. It's a great way to start with it. So from there, we moved
And
to
I
friends.
thought it was friends.
Is that you, Noah?
Yeah, friends. Me and Grace both kind of hit it up together. But the kind of the title of the message or talk, whatever you want to call it, that we did that night was "Freedom or Fire Ants,"
Oh, yeah.
and that was where we talked about the fire ants, and it's kind of a weird way to illustrate friends. But when we had the random facts, I don't know what it is about me and random facts. But we had the facts about fire ants, and one of the things about fire ants was that colonies can take over. When they get in a yard during the summertime, especially around here, they take over the yard. You walk outside one morning and there's 10 or 11 ant beds, it looks like, across your yard. And then also, ants have even been known to like kill small birds or different animals and stuff. So you have this picture of ants and how they take over and creep in, and it's almost like sin that comes into our lives. And I use this example because of a story that we don't really have a lot of time to go through, but I had a friend that stuck his hand in a fire ant bed because of a bet, and he allowed the ants to bite his hand, and that's kind of where I got this example from. And you see how sin is like that when you allow your friends to kind of influence you towards the negative, influence you to do things like sticking your hand in a fire ant bed. It's not good for you. And so when you allow your friends to influence you towards sin or the things of this world that's going to creep into your life, and eventually has the chance to take over and become habit and habitual sin and stuff like that, you got to really kind of take a look at who your friends are. So.
I think another thing we talked about that night was when I forgot to put Holden on my lifeboat.
Oh, yeah.
oh,
Holden's
I'm
still out there all by
I'm
himself.
so
All of us
sorry,
were in the lifeboat
Holden.
except for
But
Holden.
Holden, this time you can be on my lifeboat.
It's cool. I finally let it go. I forgave.
Holden, there's room for you on the lifeboat, just like there was room for Jack on that door
You
in
can,
Titanic.
you
There was
can
room
come
for
this
Jack.
time. You can come. But just for the sake of the podcast, just so like, I don't remember how I explained it that time, but like if you're on a boat and your boat starts sinking, like who would you want on that boat to help you stop the boat from sinking, like to pull you back up? So like imagine that with your relationship with Christ. Like if your relationship is sinking, who would you want to like grab you by the bootstraps and pull you back up to stop you from sinking? Are you going to want somebody that like actually cares about you and listens to you when you're not having a good day, and like would take time to realize that it's something with your relationship with Christ and would take you to church and listen to you? Or would you want somebody that just blows you off and says, I don't know why she's acting like that today. I don't know what her problem is. Like, who are you going to choose? Who do you want to surround yourself with? And vice versa. Be the friend that ask that person, maybe she's just having a bad day. Let me ask her what's going on, or ask him what's going on. Don't be the person that just says, I don't know what's going on with them. They're just having a bad day. I'm not going to talk to them anymore.
Yeah. I remember kind of the two main takeaway questions from that night was, are your friends leading you to freedom in Christ, or are they leading you to the fire ants? And then also, are you leading your friends to freedom in Christ, or are you helping to lead them towards the fire ants or the sin?
Exactly. Because that goes both ways. Like, you need to choose your friends wisely, but you need to be the friends that they would
Again, I
choose.
think the boat sinking and who's going to be there to help you was more like we also talked about our sin life. If you're in sin and, so to speak, sinking in your life, you want that person that's going to say, hey, you need to change.
Mm-hmm.
You need to, you're going to destroy yourself if you keep on this pattern. So, and which goes along with what Noah you just said, is that are you helping someone stay strong in Christ, move forward? Do you have that solid friendship, relationship in your life, or are they going to let you go and just mess your life up?
Yeah.
I think one thing too is, I thought a lot about it, but like now thinking about it, like we've always talked about how your self-image affects those, but I think your friends in some of these relationships can affect your self-image as well.
That's
so,
true.
Like you want to surround yourself with people that don't like necessarily or just, always boasting about you, but like that builds you up as a person. Like you need that in your life and your friendships. Like that can help you get through some tough times and can impact it.
It's like that weather vane. You
Yeah.
know, like you allow your friends to sway you one way or the other. So
I watched a
It's true.
video of myself giving my testimony like 2 years ago at a camp, and I used this like boat analogy then, and the youth pastor then would ask me like, he asked me to name the friends back then, but like the friends I was surrounding myself back then with were always negative about themselves, which caused me to be negative about myself, and I like hated myself, and I hated who I was and how I acted. And so I realized like that I had to make a change, and I had to leave those friends in order to like love myself again and like create a relationship with the Lord. And so I had to, find people to build my boat with.
Yeah. It's probably one of the hardest things to have to do. We touched a little bit, I think, on this last week when we were talking about fake fruit and stuff like that. Not necessarily the fake fruit part, but how, like, the people that are around you, sometimes you have to have hard conversations.
yeah,
And sometimes you have to have that hard conversation within yourself, too, and say, hey, maybe these are the people that I don't need to be around.
Yep.
I know season 1 of this show, we harped very heavily on how much community matters. And the people that you put around you, your friendships that you create, how important that is, and how I think that hit home with the friendship. And I love the analogy that you used too. It was a perfect analogy
That was good.
to kind of do it. And the third one was
You.
dating. All right, so probably the hardest lesson that I've ever looked up on something to look up, because the Bible says nothing about dating. And I've dated. I've been married almost 10 years. Next year will be 10 years. I've been married 9 years come October this year. And I've done a lot of dating back when I was in high school and everything, but trying to figure out, okay, let me biblically figure out how can I talk to anyone about dating, and especially talk to youth kids that range from what is 12, is it 12 to 18 basically is the age group. I'm here to tell you that's a little bit difficult, because 12-year-olds are not thinking, if any of them are dating, are not thinking about dating at all. And then the older ones, that probably are dating, one of the key points that I look at when it comes to dating is, what is the end goal of dating? And I think for anybody that should be marriage, because what is the point of dating someone if the end goal is not marriage? And I know, people say, oh, well, you got to get to know people and this. And that's true. I do think that you need to get to know people for sure. But you can definitely be friends before you ever get to a point of considering it dating. But again, it was very difficult to kind of go through that and figure it out. And we talked about the gift of singleness kind of starting things off, because a lot of times, or not a lot, everybody starts your life single. Is all there is to it. And I think it's so important. Nowadays, we have people that want to run out there and they want to find somebody. They either can't be alone or they really, really want to find somebody. And we forget that in the time of singleness is an important time in our life as well. And this is where stuff started to stack. And I was like, okay, in singleness, you get to work on your self-image. You get to work on yourself. It's time for you to build a firm foundation within yourself and dive as deep into the Word as you can and get as close to Jesus as you can, because that is the best foundation you can possibly create. Is what is love? God is love. Well, if I can figure this out and I know what He is and what He means for love, then I can know how I'm supposed to love somebody else. And this is all in singleness that you start to learn that when you first start. And then you can kind of start to get to where it's like, all right, well, let me look and see, how do I figure out who it is that I want to date? Probably don't want to go out and find somebody who has never been to church, doesn't know who Jesus is. And it's not that we don't want to reach the lost, that's for sure, but I don't think that you want to try to get in relationship with someone who is lost and think that you're going to be able to either keep your same mentality or keep your same strength of your faith going without either that dragging it down. And it can be very difficult to persuade somebody else that's never been around it. And it's very, very hard to do that. And I've seen it in friends of mine lives who have done that. And I think that that's another, it kind of ticks back to your friends and the people that are around you, and being able to see, okay, could I see this person being somebody that long-term, I could see this being a relationship that turns into a marriage. And again, I think that's, when I said it, it was like, all right, half of y'all in this room probably think that boys still got cooties and that girls are gross, and then vice versa. Some of y'all have probably already been dating, maybe are just starting dating. Some of y'all may have been dating for a long time and might even be with somebody that you're going to get married to now. because high school friendships or high school, what do they call it? High school sweetheart. Yeah. That's a real thing. I mean, it does happen today. But I think it's very important, but was very hard to find. And I'm going to give a shout out to Jonathan Pekluda, and one of his books that I read through, trying to get some wisdom, guidance, information from another pastor who has been through a lot of this stuff and also wrote a book and things like that. And that helped a lot, tremendously, because we can do a lot of research on what is love and reading through the Bible of what is love. Because you got what
I
is
keep
love?
thinking that every time he says that, I'm singing that in my head.
You've got to understand what love is first. That's where you start to build that in singleness, to be able to get to the point where you start dating and you meet people and you get closer with that person and you realize, okay, really quickly, this isn't something that needs to be drawn out. It's like, I can see a future with this person, or it ain't me, it's you. This is over, very quickly bringing that to an end, because that's what happens. You end up hurting somebody in the long run by either carrying them along or thinking that you can push this along, and it's not something that's going to work. So does that kind of make sense?
I said this analogy one time, and I was kind of shocked because some of the youth came back later and said that they had remembered this, and I was like, wow. But I kind of compare it to, like, let's say you were going to run a marathon. So you get ready, like, and you've practiced, like, you've prepared for this marathon, you've done a whole plan, like, you're ready to go the day of. It's not likely that you're going to go running this marathon and find somebody that you're going to stay back with. Like, if you've practiced for this, like, you're aiming for a time, like, you're hardly ever going to go back and stay back with somebody that's walking or,
Oh, yeah.
you know what I mean?
I would be one of the walkers.
And vice versa.
Especially on a marathon.
Like, if somebody's planned and trained, like, they don't want to have to hold themselves back whenever you're walking. And I just compared that to, like, dating. Like, you want to find somebody that's running the race, the speed that you are. Like, yes, you want to be pushed, and yes, you want to push them, but you kind of have to have that similar speed going, and that way you can continue on through the race together, or it just won't. One of them is going to have to give. Either you'll lose your time in the marathon or you'll lose the person, and that's kind of like your relationship with Christ. Either your relationship with Christ is going to suffer, or your relationship with that person if one of you aren't really rooted in it.
Yeah.
That's so good, Lori.
I think that's good. I think the analogy. Go ahead. You have something?
I just said that's good.
Oh, okay. That's really good. I think the analogy I ended up using was a friend of mine asked me, and we were going to go find some shoes, and he knew exactly.
This was good.
He knew exactly what shoes he was going there to get. And it was called, like, does the shoe fit? I think that's what it is. It kind of all comes back to me. It's like riding a bicycle. You figure it out after a while. But it was like he knew what he was going to get. And I didn't. I was just going with him. And he walks straight in, goes and gets the shoes that I'm looking. I'm like, oh, man, check these out, Oh, I could get any of these. And it's like that a lot in life, too. And I don't really like the analogy of there's plenty of fish in the sea, because I'm not fishing. But anyways, but he knew what he was coming to get. And I saw all these options. And it's just like that in life, too, where you have all these options, but might not be the right fit for you, might not fit you in the first place. There's so many different types of shoe that you can find. And I know it sounds like it might have been a silly analogy, but to me it's like, oh, this kind of makes sense. And that's where, again, you go back in that singleness and it's like, all right, let me iron out. I want to know what it is that I'm looking for. When the time comes, I can go and say, okay, my heart's in line with Christ. I know exactly what he has in my life and what I should be looking for. And boom, that's the shoe I'm going to, like he did. He knew where he was going, grabbed it, was ready to rock and roll. Me, on the other hand, I was like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing here.
Well, but like you're talking
That's
about,
so true.
people say there's plenty of fish in the sea, but then again, that's the world's take on it. That's you don't have to settle for one. You don't have to, if it don't work out, just be done.
Yeah, I
Go
mean,
on to the next thing. It's kind of that carefree world that really does it.
And that was also part of it too. It was like, that doesn't mean go out and date 76 people, and I mean, in 76, you ought to have figured something out with somebody or know what it is that you're looking for. Maybe you're looking in the wrong place. Maybe you're looking at the wrong person or thinking that it's going to last. Because, again, that's just how you continue to hurt somebody.
Or yourself.
When you're doing like that. Exactly. So it all ties back together. But that was pretty much dating. And then next, I think, was it family?
Family.
And that was.
I feel like you have to agree with me. This one was hard.
It was difficult.
It was hard. And
it also kind of touched some heartstrings in my own life.
I think the reason it was hard is because, or my take on it, the reason it was so hard, which I don't know why I gave myself the hardest topic, is because you can't pick your family. Like, you can say, like, oh, cut some ties with your friends or cut some ties with, dating. And it's a little bit more difficult in your family because even if you cut, like, or have to cut a tie because of some reason, like, that's still your kin. Like, does that make sense? And I feel like you will still always have a tie to them in a way.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of hard to just like cut with them or choose them like you would your friends or family. And that's what made the research for it so hard, because like, how do you handle that? And so I feel like we went through a lot. Like, we talked through a lot because we just hit on a bunch of different things. But like, so we started with like what I live in, which is pretty much like a nuclear family. Like, my family's all still here. Like, my grandparents are here. Like, my parents are together. Like, I have one sibling. Like, we grew up in such a happy household. Like, it was a dream childhood. Like, for real, I look back on it now and I just realize how blessed I am. Like, the more and more like I work at my job, or like I'm with people that don't experience that, not saying like their childhood wasn't happy, but like it was just such a fortunate thing that I didn't see at the time. But I was talking about that, and I heard a sermon one time, I think at Passion, where somebody was like, you know, be grateful for that because the Lord has sustained you. And like, that word has always stuck out to me since, is like, he has, and like, I'm so grateful for that. And then thankfully Holden did it with me, which was cool because he has a different type of family background, which I don't know if you would.
Oh yeah, yours, like you said, everything's together. Mine was the opposite. My parents split up when I was a lot younger, so I had two different sides of the family that you had to go to, and 7 sisters. Now that I have, so I a little bit different.
Yeah, which doesn't mean a lack of joy in any way. I think that was like the main thing we wanted to get across, is like, there's no such thing as a perfect family. Like, every family has its flaws and every family has like its great things, and like, you won't be less joyful because you have one or the other. But if you are, like, we wanted to touch on some things, like, you know, if your family is not with Christ, like if they don't know the Lord and they don't have a church home and like they've never experienced the love of God, like you being here, like in the youth room, can take that back to them. Like, you listening to this podcast can like see that as like oh, my family doesn't have a church home, like they don't have Christian community, I don't know if they've ever heard the gospel, like I want to take this to them. And like, that's such a cool thing to be able to do, and don't discount that because of your age. Like, you can still do it at a youth age, go back to your parents and grandparents and like share the gospel with them and see them come to know the Lord. I'm trying to think what else we touched on. Like, we also talked about like going through family things. Like, if your family's struggling, like if you're going through a hard time in your family, like the Lord's with you. Like, that doesn't mean that he's not listening to you. Like, he hears your problems, like what you see as like your issues with your family. Like, he hears that, he sees that, like he's with you, and there's always a plan in the end. Like, his will is so much better, which is hard for me to say because, like I said, like I am so fortunate in my family. I haven't had to face a lot of that, but like I empathize with those that do, because that's such a hard thing to face, and I just want them to know that the Lord is with them on those moments.
Yeah, and that's tough. Like I said, I've witnessed family members who have come to church and they feel judged the entire time that they're there, and they feel like I'm not welcome, so they don't come back. Yeah. And then I've witnessed family members who, you know, have gone to church for a really long time and now they don't anymore. Or, you know, same thing where beliefs are just slightly different, you know, than we believe. And again, it doesn't mean that it has to affect you though,
right?
You know, because you, again, like we talked about with self-image, you, in the end, the choice is you have to make a choice. Yeah. And I think that's kind of one of the things I ended on was your parents can't make the choice for you.
Right.
You know, you have to inevitably make the choice. You don't get grandfathered into heaven because your grandparents and your parents and your sisters, your siblings, you don't get grandfathered into heaven because of that. You ultimately have to make a choice
on your own,
regardless of if you've been in church since you were 3 and when you were 3 years old you got saved. You know, something that you probably don't remember. I think that was also kind of an important part too. Yeah.
One of the things y'all did too was, you know, you said like yours nuclear family, Holden's broken family, and you know I kind of, one of the things I inputted in that was, you know, where do we get those terms from? Mm-hmm. Nuclear, broken, and it's kind of society, but it's also biblical. You know, God's intention was for a man and woman to come together and have a family, and that be that nuclear family. But if that doesn't happen because of brokenness in the world, like you said, doesn't mean that it's just destroyed. You have to let God help through that more. But again, it's where we began to go back to say, hey, your self-image, the first one we did, has to be strong. So you choose the right friends, date the right person, and you still strive for that perfect plan that God had, and to get through that with God. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just...
One thing too, like on that is, I think I discount the benefit of having a family that like knows the Lord and how that can impact a family that doesn't. And I think that we've even seen that through our youth in a different way. But like, for example, like I think we all know families that come and bring carloads of kids every time they come. And now they all start to drive, so we don't even really see it as much. But like, there were years that groups of our kids could not drive, and the way they got here every week is because they went and stayed at one house together, and then they all came in. And it wasn't just like it was just one trip around the block. Like, she was bringing three
loads
of kids to youth and kids program, and like, that is so awesome. And I just know that there are some of those guys that probably would have never made it up here without that consistently, at least. Like, they may have come in and out, but like, there probably would have been a few of them that would not have been here consistently without that. And that is such a blessing that like, that a family is able to do that. And like, sometimes I think that we discount how big of an impact our family knowing the Lord can have on those around us. And that is just such a cool thing too.
And as you said, and when they come here, luckily we've done a great job in working together that this is family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What they may not have at home, they can get here. And that's probably one of the reasons it has grown and it keeps going like it is, some because, you know, we fill those voids, and that's what Christ wants us to do. So
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go. You go.
I think I was going to touch back on something at the very beginning. So if you had something off of that,
I just like have learned over like the last few weeks. I've just heard more and more like in my daily job and like outside of my job, like how impactful a family is, like how important family support is. Like, and I just think that's so cool, and that is such a cool thing to have. And if you don't, like, it's great to know that you can get that here. And I think that we do a really good job of fostering that, or I pray that we do, because that is one of the first steps, I think, to bringing somebody into church and getting them to know the Lord, is to make them feel comfortable whenever they come in. And I just pray that we can always make the youth feel that way. I mean, beyond the youth, but like with our specialty being in youth, like I just pray that we can always continue to bring them in and allow them to feel like family here, no matter how their home life is.
Yeah, I think that's very important, because like I said, I've had family members who they come to church and they don't feel that welcome. Yeah. They feel, all right, there's cliques here, there. I don't fit into any of these, so I'm going to sit in the back. Well, then, you know, isn't there a Casting Crowns song like that? Does anybody see her or hear her or something like that? Anyway,
it is.
Yeah, something like that. Well, same kind of feeling where it was like, oh, I just feel judged the entire time. So instead of coming back, they don't. And then I think that same thing can happen in youth, and in any church that's out there that could be listening or watching, is you have that open arm to people. And not, most of the time when people don't go to church, it's because they haven't been asked. Yeah. Or when they do go, it's because they feel turned away. And the church is more, you know, kind of pushing people away more than it is bringing people in like it should be. And I think, like you said, Gramps, it's very important that we make sure that we stay humbled in that same way of saying, man, we're blessed to have this many kids here, but we find that it's very important that this is what we're based on, it's based on Jesus, and we're showing them that love, whether they get it at home or not. They're going to get it here. And we're going to make sure that they understand that they're welcome, and we're going to have fun sometimes. And sometimes we're going to talk about topics that are hard, and sometimes families is a hard topic to talk about. And what we were talking about off the very beginning that you said there, and we talked about this last week, or the first episode in forgiveness, is we're called to forgive those, even if they're in your family, for anything that they may have said, done to you, for you, whatever it is. It doesn't mean that we forget. You know, but we're still called to forgive those people for whatever it is that they may have said or done. I think that's really important.
And family is the good, bad, ugly. I mean, we're going to be great with each other some days. Some days we're not, but we're going to love each other through that, even those bad times. I mean, that's what family is.
Absolutely. And was that the fifth molecule?
That was the fourth.
Fourth, we got one more.
Gramps.
Oh, that's right. Gramps rounded it out.
God.
That's right.
I don't remember
only the most important one. Holden.
Yeah, very.
But I mean, it was like, I guess we were doing them.
And that was like the encompassing last one, was the relationship we have with God.
We just had the me, but then it was all those God. Yeah, and on that one, basically, you know, I said at the beginning, the self-image, you have to get that right, your self-image in God. So as we've said already, to get the right relationships as far as friendships, that leads to the right relationship in marriage, that leads to a godly family. So God was the big one in that our relationship with God has to be the strongest
Yeah,
of all
yeah.
of those.
Yeah.
If our relationship, in other words, if our relationship, I think what I said was if our relationship with God is messed up or we don't believe in him, then we're going to buy into that worldly aspect of I can just date anybody, whoever, if it works out great, if it doesn't, but we're not going to realize, wait a minute, this relationship isn't good for me. This friendship isn't good for me. It's pulling me down. That's going to mess up your family, your self-image. They just all tie together. And so you've got to have that right relationship with God to make sure that everything else falls in place.
Yeah.
And I know that seems kind of very simple on that, but I mean, that's just it. And you can see it again. If you've got a right relationship with God, you're going to see yourself in the right light.
Yeah.
You're going to know who you are in Christ. You're going to know what you need to do, how you need to live, what's good, what's bad. And then that's going to automatically affect the people that you hang out with. As Grace even said, okay, I realized I can't hang around these people anymore because they're pulling me down. But that's probably, Grace, I guess you could add to that, whether that was once you, as you said, got closer to God and realized where that needed to be, that you realized that. And then that ties in, again, like I said, to family. Your family's going to be stronger. But if you mess your relationship up with God, then you can make mistake after mistake after mistake, and you're just going to struggle all the way through life.
Sometimes when I think about that series, I feel like we should have done the God lesson first.
I think we kind of talked about it too, but Gramps was gone the very first week.
Maybe
Wasn't he?
that
Yeah,
was
I
what
think
it is.
so.
Yeah. 'cause
I feel like it should have
both
gone
of y'all.
first, and then everything would have. But I guess it
Yeah.
makes sense to do it last too.
Yeah, because I think ultimately the last, like, kind of wrapping it up is, your foundation being God and centered in that. All of the other molecules that surround it, all of the other molecules in me, your self-image, your friendships, your dating life, your family life, and you had friendship. I completely blanked out on. Sorry, but if your relationship, just like Gramps said, is solid with Christ, then all of these other relationships can also be solid in that same way. Doesn't mean that they're going to be perfect, because again, there's going to be hard things that come up in life. That's just life.
Yeah.
But if you're centered in Christ in all of those things, then who can be against you, right?
Yeah. And I guess I can see what Grace's saying. If we'd done it, I think you could have done it either way, and we
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you could have started with God, get that relationship right. Then your self-image is going to be good. God, your friends
Yeah.
are going to be good.
Yeah.
God, but
Yeah.
the way we did it, it still works
Yeah,
because
I think
okay,
it
we've
made
talked
sense.
about self-image, we've talked about friends, family. How do we do all that now?
Makes
Comes
sense.
back to God.
That's what I was about to say. I think one thing that's really cool, about looking at the big picture of everything all together with this series is that you see that everything else, all the topics we've talked about, it all comes back and boils down to it's about your relationship with God.
Right.
Yeah.
And, one thing that was really cool about the God lesson is that we see such a picture of the gospel in that, the fact that God created us and he wants to be in relationship with us, but yet there's so many things of this world and that tempt us and ensnare us, our friends, sometimes our family life. It teaches us things that that leads us to fall into sinful habits. I mean, and then with all these other relationships, dating relationships and those types of things, we are sinful people. And even though God wants to be in relationship with us, our sin is separating us from him, and there's nothing that we can do in our own power to have that relationship. And so we see what God has done for us through Jesus on the cross, being the salvation that we need. And then ultimately, like you were saying earlier, it all boils down to if you accept him or not. It comes back to he's done all of this for you. Will you accept him? Will you believe in him? So, just kind of the 4 points of the gospel there, but we see that all throughout each lesson as those relationships and things start to come together.
It's amazing how all these things help us to grow, and even us as leaders grow. Because, like you said, I'm sitting here thinking, now that we've said all this, why didn't we end this series with? So, if you don't like what you see right now, God.
Yeah.
If you don't like what you're seeing in your self-image, get to God. If you don't like what's going on in your friendships, you need to get back to God. That would have been a perfect segue for the upstairs to bring it
Right.
to.
I guess hindsight's 2020.
Are you
Which we could do a tag lesson or something here on this thing, and
are you saying we're Growing
Racing the meter.
Upstairs.
Oh, yeah. Growing upstairs
Uh,
by racing the meter.
That's right. That was a really fun lesson. One that I think when we all got together and met and decided this was going to be what we were going to do, and you know we kind of each get our topic is like at first it's like, oh yeah, this will be good, and then you start studying and it's like,
How
What
am I
have
going
oh my
to do
goodness.
this?
That was
Yeah.
my first thought when I pulled it up. I was like, let me look up some family things. So I looked up family youth lesson. Nothing came up but how to be
Yeah.
a parent, how to raise your kid. And I
Yeah.
was like, what have I done? I have
Yeah.
totally
I might have ended up with like one of the easier ones. Cause
no. I have friends is the easiest one. Gramps. We wrote the whole
Preach the
lesson for
gospel.
Gramps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm not saying that it truly
Yeah.
was the easiest. But
Normally
it was
when
like all of these luckily get to tie together, and Gramps is like, all right, let me just put a bow on the end of this thing right.
Yeah, perfect. I just look back and like pray and hope that at least one person like left with something from one of them that impacted their life. Like I would love for each person to have experienced something in one of them that would impact their life and like their relationships. But I do hope that like it could affect a life or
Yeah.
Well, and let me just tell y'all, because you're saying that we've had the FCA at school, we've had chapel service. I get to see that more than y'all do, unfortunately. But they are getting it. Oh my gosh, y'all! If y'all could be at those chapel services, I'm sitting there going, "Well, yeah, we kind of said that,
They're
but
listening.
they just said that so much better."
Yeah.
Till my point is we are doing something, and we praise the Lord for that because they are remembering, they are
Mhm.
sharing it in their FCA lessons they're doing. They're sharing it in chapel service sometimes, and it's just, I mean, if y'all could see it like I do, it's just you're sitting there going, "So thank y'all," because the work is paying. These
Yeah, that's
series are paying off, but
that's awesome though, because there are
It's
times
like,
where you sit here and you go, are they getting it? But I also think that's such an important part of like this part of this episode, and I think we've said it for the past, I mean, I don't know how long. If this reaches one person, if it impacts one person's life, if they hear it and it brings them to Jesus, then that's all that matters to us. And it doesn't matter if 5 million people watch this, listen to this. It doesn't matter if one person does. If it's just the one person that hears it and says, hey, they're on to something, and it brings them to Jesus, job done.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's been really cool to go back through this lesson series as we
Yeah.
kind of get ready for the summer, because I think the summer is it's going to be a good season for some of the kids, us included, and it has the potential to be a very bad season for some of just because you're getting out of school, your mind is not on school anymore. You don't have anything to focus on for some of the kids, work and stuff, and some of them won't be going to Fuge with us, unfortunately, and we're excited for those that are. But, and we pray that we have kids that experience life change through Fuge and come to know the Lord or grow their relationship with the Lord. But there's also those who are going to really be impacted, have a negative impact in their friendships, in their dating lives, maybe in their family lives and stuff. So we just pray for them as we go through this summertime, as we get ready to get into this next chapter of the year. So it's just an important thing to kind of remind ourselves of these topics as we get ready for that.
Yeah, I'm glad that we were all able to get together and go back over it, because I kind of look and schedule things just trying to figure out, all right, how's this going to work? And I was like, because I almost, to be honest with you, I think I had it a different week where I was like, oh, we can bring up the molecules of me, and I was like, no, we got to all do it together because we all did it together. And when you bring it back up like that, it sparks so many memories of not only like taking the time to study and dive deeper into the word and find answers and find ways to be able to teach it. But then remembering like the other parts of the lessons too, I think is important, not only for everybody that's listening or even the kids that were here that time, but for us to also remember. I think it's very important.
I just think it's so cool how we're all like knit together with such different lives. Like,
Think about that all the time.
What a
That
time.
is so
I just
crazy.
don't think I ever appreciated it before the series, but when we were talking about who was going to do what, and then I'll be off my soapbox about this series because I literally loved it. But I think when we talked about who was going to do what, it was so cool to, like, for example, say we can do family because we have two completely different views on that, or like so and so and so and so can do this one because they've experienced it two different ways. Like, I just think that's so neat to see, because if we were all the same, like, we would never have reached the kids that we do. Like, we all can form a different bond with a different kid due to that. And I just think that's so cool that the Lord placed us all here together to do it. and knowing that, like
Yeah.
knowing that we would be
tearing
able to do
up.
that.
That is just like the coolest thing. Like
Yeah.
we are all, I don't know.
You
that
just
is-
don't see that when you're on the other side. Like you don't see how your testimony is going to have an impact.
Yeah.
You just, and then you turn it
That
around
may
and
be
you
our
can
next
see it.
series, the body of Christ, because it talks about how everyone's gifted.
Yeah.
Everyone's
We always
gift
come up
makes
with
a
series at the weirdest
difference.
times.
I claim the
Um,
feet.
But like
I
you
want the
said,
head.
there's some of the kids that may hear me say some of this that get nothing out of it, but because Noah said it, oh wait a minute, or like you said, so yeah, might be time to do that. Everybody's gifting.
That's not a bad idea.
We do. We
a
come up
really
with them
good
at
idea.
the randomest times.
Stay tuned. We may have something.
Oh yeah, we got to go to Log Hair's Foot or whatever when we were up there a few
Barefoot
years.
Joe.
You cannot get that
Long
name
hairs.
down.
What was it called now?
Barefoot
Joe.
Joe is the adult hangout spot at Union University for Future.
Bro, that is
right.
what I said.
You said log something.
Log Head's foot or something.
I thought you
I
were
said
talking
Log
about
Hair's
series
foot.
again.
When we miss Holden
To be able to
at
put one
camp
together,
this
yeah.
summer, we'll look for him at Loghead's Foot,
Just stop and rub.
and we'll know it's Barefoot Joe.
I see y'all down there at the Walmart. Y'all got anything else on the topic before we bounce out of here? No, all good. All right.
Betty.
We fixing to raise the. We fixing to raise the. Meter,
Noah's got his headphones going.
meter. We fixing to raise the meter.
Booyah. That is Raise the Meter. Thank you guys for coming on again. I'm so excited for you guys to have come on, and I look forward to the next time that we're all going to get together and do it again.
Thank
Been a
y'all for
pleasure.
Absolutely.
Thank y'all for continuing the podcast.
Don't all talk at
You got
once
it
now.
looking good in
Honor
here.
and a privilege.
You almost said an honor and a pleasure.
It's a privilege.
It's literally-
It's a privilege.
It's literally my privilege to be here today.
This has been
It's
fun.
my pleasure to serve
Everybody, it was my privilege and my honor to be here today.
Log Hair's
We
Foot.
lost
That's
her.
what
Thanks,
need to-
everybody.
Foghorn Leghorn.
Foghorn Leghorn.
Say a boy.
Thanks for having me, everybody.
Oh, we need to go to bed.
One more time, Gramps. One more time, Gramps. All right. But
Man.
before we get out of here, we still got a couple more things to go through. Noah, where can they find us at
That's my
first and
bedtime.
They
foremost?
can still find us on Instagram at GrowingUpstairs. Also, this is our third episode of the new season that you can find on YouTube. You can also go back and listen to last season's episodes.
Whoop, whoop.
It's just the audio, but we have brand new episodes coming out every week, so be on the lookout for those. Contact us, email us, let us know, give us some stories. We'd love that.
Whoop, whoop.
But man, this is fun as we continue this new season.
Absolutely.
But Holden, before we go, I think it's probably about time for a dad joke, isn't it?
Yeah, dad joke right behind nap time. All right. I used to be a fan of Jesus. Now, I am a full-on air conditioner.
Okay.
Oh! All right, that's one. All right, this next one, though, is credit to Grace right here. She sent this to me the other day. What's made of leather and smells like a sneeze? My music cut off.
I don't know.
A shoe. Boom. Thanks, Grace, for that. Hey, thank you guys for coming on again. We're we're so grateful for you guys coming on
Bye, guys.
and talking to us and being on the show yet again.
Fun.
Woo woo. Look forward to next time. Noah, keep growing upstairs.
Yes, sir.
Now we'll get out of here. Peace.